Okay, right. This one's going to be an interesting one. Alright, I don't know how big we're going to make this. We're going to find out when we put the original on the glass. So I'm wondering if we're going to go with this. We're not going to. We don't want to make it too solid, so we're going to leave those out for a change. And that goes on like so, and I'm just going to... Oh, fuck you, Konica Minolta, and your fucking scrolls. I wish you fucking had the tabs. You could have kept the old screen at least, with like on the old C353. But you fucking assholes who love money. You don't care about the customer, really. You don't care about the environment. You don't care about anyone but your selfish, mean, rich people, shitters, as your friends and your fucking family. You couldn't give a shit about the fucking poor and the man shivering on the street or the woman on the street. It's even worse for women because, fuck, they're vulnerable. There's so many predators out there in the dead of night when you're on the fucking street. I've had the experience of being homeless for a short time, and I did get the experience of sleeping rough. At least I was with some women who were also homeless, and they showed me the ropes. And I had one night where I slept rough in the Bondi Pavilion back in, I think, July 2012. So I'm telling you, bitches, it is no picnic being poor, being homeless. And basically, I had a predator trying to proposition me for sex. He fucking wouldn't let me sleep safely. But fortunately, he didn't touch me. But it was scary. It was a nasty little experience I'd gained. But it was an insight, an important insight, because I feel that to really know what the poor are going through, you've got to experience some of the shit they go through. And that was how... So I class that as useful experience. This is what we're doing. I class that as a useful experience, even though it was unpleasant. But basically, I'm over these rich people running our fucking companies like photocopier companies. Me and my future husband, Luigi, we want to build an artificially intelligent photocopier, not this bullshit that's fucking stupid. It's bad for the planet. You can only get spare parts for 5 years for any given product. Like these machines. And basically, you have to get a new machine because the fucking spare parts, they run out. And that is so wrong, It should be at least 10 years for spare parts. And I'm not a fucking rich cunt. I haven't grown any much richer than when I was in 2012. The only thing I had behind me in 2012 was savings. I used my savings to live homeless temporarily, but that, for me, that was temporary. It wasn't permanent. It wasn't something that I had to put up with for the rest of my life. But I still have feelings for these people who've just fallen on hard times, and it's just so hard to live when you're not rich. And yet the rich people treat us like shit. It's not our fucking fault that we're poor. We may have had it. Our families may have been poor. I was never brought up in a rich family. I missed out on a lot of things that my next door neighbours had. I never got to go to the snow, and it wasn't until 1986 that my mum bought us a VCR so we could watch videos. And everyone else had VCRs around 1981. We didn't get ours till 1986. So I'm telling you, it's not fucking fair, this world. And the rich people run the photocopier industry, and they make shit. We need artificial intelligence in our photocopiers. And we need photocopiers to last 60 years so the environment is protected. We've got to protect the environment. We've got to save the planet. Too much electronic waste is going into landfill. That is not acceptable. And incineration, not acceptable. Not acceptable. It has to be recycled. But the best thing to do is to not make the product in the first case. So you avoid ripping more minerals out of the ground, and then they get thrown into the ground as waste, which is highly toxic. And what's the point? You've got lots of precious metals, including gold and silver, and I think there's platinum in there too. So what a fucking waste of minerals And you have to do more. And if you want jewellery, if you want more precious metals for jewellery, they end up being mined more, where they can get, if people recycle this equipment, the companies recycle this equipment, we could get cheap gold to be used for whatever, new electronics, jewellery. Gold is not exactly an easy thing to find, and that's probably what it is, because so much gold is wasted. Maybe that's why it's such an inflated price when you buy the jewellery. I mean, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with these rich people? People like Mr. Konica Minolta, who, from what I know, is based in Japan, because that's the head office of Konica Minolta. And I'm so sick of these people who make things that are designed to fall apart. You know, things that don't last. Fuck, I am so annoyed. I can't afford to replace equipment like this on a regular basis. I'm not fucking rich. I fucking love photocopiers, and I want to make some really good YouTube demos. And this is what I had to fucking do, is outlay a bank loan to get this fucker. It's just not on. It's just not right. These rich people get away with all sorts of shit. They never have to fucking... Man, I wish there was a fucking... wish someone would prosecute these assholes for being such wasteful criminals. Fuck me dead. When I build a photocopier, I'll be building a photocopier that lasts 60 years. Fuck you, bitches. You're not going to fucking ruin my future. Fuck me dead. At the moment, I have an acquired brain injury, so I can't learn and study science or technology, which really pisses me off. But basically, when they have the computerised chips, the quantum computers, to fix my brain damage, I will be making a better photocopier and a better world, hopefully. I want to be able to help the planet and help people, including the people I mentioned, the poor people and the homeless and all that. No one seems to care. No one seems to fucking care. And I can't do nothing about it because I myself am living on a tight budget. I can't afford to fucking help them out. I want to, but at the moment I'm hamstrung myself. I'm hoping my YouTube videos could get out there, and maybe also Facebook and other platforms that I'm using or have used, and that maybe the message will get out and that people won't be so gullible when they buy consumer electronics like from Apple, with the stupid Apple iPhone 7, iPhone 8, iPhone 10, all without a headphone jack, all in the name of making money for bloody Apple, for Mr. Tim Cook, the arsehole who doesn't have any innovative ideas. He's a fucking cunt. I prefer my Galaxy S8 Plus, but that's far from perfect, and Samsung did fuck up as well. So it's very few big companies can be considered innocent. Even Samsung had fucked up in 2016, and I got a feeling most of those phones that were recalled have ended up in fucking landfill. So Samsung, you're not off the hook either. I do like this product, Samsung, but I don't like your stupid mistake you made. You know, just to keep up with the Apple iPhone 7. And the Apple iPhone 7 was a piece of shit anyway, so you fucking did this stupidity all for nothing. You worried all for the sake of nothing. I just wish these fucking corporations would just get their fucking act together and do the right thing by society and by the world. I mean, we can't live like this. We can't live this unsustainable bullshit life. You know, we got to be able to... fuck me dead. I'm really sick of corporate greed. I'm sick of everything being a commodity. It's so heinous. It's so heinous. It's really awful that everything is determined by capitalism, by the whims of capitalism. It doesn't matter about the human toll. It doesn't matter that our world's heating up and that little Pacific islands are being inundated with storms and they're going to go underwater because the polar ice caps are melting. And you know, where does the water go? It's going to get higher and higher, and people on the islands are going to die, drowning in the fucking mess that we, the industrialised world, have created, and they fucking never contributed to it. they're fucking much greener than us. So think about it. Don't listen to the advertising spin. If you want to buy a product such as an iPhone, and I don't like the iPhones now that we got, I'm thinking of buying an iPhone SE, but basically, and I don't want the SE2, I want the SE1 because it's still got a headphone jack, but think before you buy. Maybe wait till someone has already bought your product and made some YouTube videos, because you can learn a lot from YouTube about products before you buy them, but don't buy it too soon just because it's it's new and whiz bang. Often you're going to be disappointed, and Apple is a disappointment. Until Tim Cook is kicked out, you're going to get shit products. So big buyer beware.